Welcome to Page 1, brought to you by the Robinson Public Library District. We have locations in Robinson, Oblong, Flat Rock, and Hudsonville, Illinois. The purpose of this program is to take a look back in time at some of the stories that made front page headlines in the various Crawford County newspapers at different points in our local history. This episode features a look back at the week of May 11th, 1975. And before we get started with our archival journey, I would like to mention that every story that we cover today, in addition to other news from the publications mentioned, can be found on our website at robinsonpubliclibrary.com. And I'll be sure to repeat that address again at the end of the episode. Our first two articles are on the front page of the Monday, May 12th edition. The first headline is somewhat ominous and reads, "Oil fire, rainstorm, tornado here." The lead paragraph recounts that an exploding oil tank battery, combination rain and thunderstorm, and tornado caused an anxious 30 minutes for many Crawford County residents on Sunday night, which was the previous evening of May 11th. But the tank battery was the only loss. The cause of the tank battery fire, apparently which began around 9:30 p.m., was a lightning bolt. The battery in question was owned by the Getty Oil Company and was located about 4 miles northeast of Robinson. The ball of fire roared into the night sky, generating flames that they say could be seen as far as 5 miles away. Now, while Getty employees and the Robinson Fire Department responded quickly to the incident, nothing could be done until the oil itself was consumed. Damage to the tank battery was in the neighborhood of $5,000. Meanwhile, the tornado was reported 5 minutes after the lightning strike about 4 miles west of Robinson and headed towards the city. Fortunately, the all clear was given just 30 minutes later and no structural damage was reported, but there was some crop damage due to the heavy rains. So our second item from the front page of the May 12th edition is a photo and caption that summarizes the dedication of the newly constructed Palestine softball stadium in honor of Tom Jennings, the first Crawford County resident killed in action during the Vietnam War. Private First Class Jennings, a Palestine high school graduate, was a Marine rifleman with the 1st Marine Division, 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines M Company. He was mortally wounded during hostile action on March 5, 1966 in the Quang Ngai province of South Vietnam. If you're interested in learning more about Thomas Alvin Jennings, his obituary can be found on page 4 of the March 26, 1966 edition of the Robinson Daily News. Pictured in the photo with the memorial plaque were Private Jennings' mother, Mrs. Robert Jennings, alongside Larry McCord, who was then president of the Palestine Men's Softball Association. In addition to a full day of softball action and the dedication ceremony, other activities on opening day included the Shrine Crazy Clowns and a parachute jump by local skydivers Rusty Ward and Steve Kidwell, along with 2 out-of-town parachutists. For those of you viewing this program that are history buffs, you'll know that 2 weeks prior to this edition, on April 30th, North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon, which of course was the capital of South Vietnam. The fall of Saigon, also known as Reunification Day in Vietnam, marked the end of the Vietnam War. So our next two front page news stories come from the Tuesday, May 13th edition of the Daily News. The first article has the headline that reads, "Area Youngsters Win Vacations." The story summarizes the winners of the Gallows Red and White Believe in American Youth Contest. The 3 big winners of a 4-day, 3-night stay at Florida's Disney World were Sherry Hodge of Palestine, Billy Murphy of Robinson, and also Deborah Milam of Robinson. Other winners mentioned in the article were Teresa Redmond of Flat Rock, who won a new bike, Laura Biggs and Michael Fear, who were winners of instant loading cameras, and Tony Kuntz, Diana Dunlap, Carletta Green, Randy Decker, Tangi Waldrop, and Debbie Kelly, who were all the lucky winners of watches. Another local event making front page headlines on Tuesday, May 13th was the open house at Lincoln Trail College that was planned for the weekend of May 15, 16, 17, and 18. The event commemorated the completion of construction on the permanent campus that actually began in 1972. Now, the college itself was founded in 1969. The permanent construction was in excess of 90,000 square feet and comprised 3 buildings. The total cost of the permanent campus was approximately $3 million. One of the events scheduled for the weekend was the premiere production in the new Lincoln Trail Theater of A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and that program was directed by Phil Evans under the musical direction of Hubert Kubler. Tours, model airplane and karate demonstrations, a dedication ceremony conducted by Dr. Joseph Pylan, who was then president of the college, culminating with a concert choir, were all part of open house activities. And our last headline comes from the Wednesday, May 14th edition and reads, RHS students honored by Lions. The top 40 members of the 1975 senior class, including Catherine McDevitt, who's pictured here with club member Joe Crane, were honored during the 16th annual banquet at the Crawford County Country Club on the previous evening. Now, in addition to the honorees, the banquet also featured guest speaker Dave Kirk, who a lot of you will remember was a longtime television weatherman at local television station WTHI in Terre Haute, Indiana. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I hope that you learned some things about our Crawford County, Illinois history that you might not have known previously. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, if you want to read more about any of these items from these editions or the nearly 500,000 pages available, simply go to our website at robinsonpubliclibrary.com. Once you get to the home page, make sure you go over to the genealogy tab, click on it, and once on the genealogy page, you'll want to scroll about 3/4 of the way down the page until you see the Crawford County Newspaper Archives picture. Simply click on the picture and you'll be in the archives. And if you're unfamiliar with navigation on the site, there is a detailed set of instructions that are located directly below the newspaper archives picture. You can either download those directions or simply print them out. Well, if you like this episode, make sure that you click the like button and also hit the subscribe button. Thank you once again for watching, and we hope that you'll tune in for our next installment of Page 1.